Okay.
So we are officially live. I'll give folks a couple minutes to file in here. And yeah, we'll just hang out here for just a couple seconds. I see we have 2 people joining us here thus far, a couple more filing in. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Really excited to be co-hosting this webinar here today with Todd from Real Estate Site Designers. This is going to be a really fun webinar, and I'm going to hand it over to you, Todd, to give a quick spiel about what we're doing here today, and then I'll take the reins back over and we'll get into the content that we'll cover today.
All right. So welcome, everybody. Glad you guys could come in. So I started using Motion a couple of months ago, about a month and a half. Before, we were using ClickUp and things to monitor and manage projects. This really made things a lot easier. Obviously I have a different business than you guys do, but I saw the potential for real estate agents. I was spending at least an hour, maybe 2 every morning, just going through forms, seeing who had submitted what form, where the project stood, what forms they still needed to complete, things like that. And ClickUp was managing, I could see a portal of everything, but it wasn't, it didn't follow up. So, it is radically changed how we do business. Now someone signs up for a project. We have templates that I've built out, just depending on what they've ordered. I send out the template. It reminds them, it gives them tasks, it gives them places to upload files, it gives them a portal for a help desk. All the communication goes through that portal now. And I can literally, at a glance, I can see where everybody stands, what they've done, what they haven't done. And it reduced an hour's worth of work down to less than 10 minutes, because I don't have to send out reminders. It just does it automatically now. So, and like I said, I obviously have a different business than all of you do, but I really see the potential for real estate, especially the, smaller agents, things like that, ones that, maybe don't have SureClose or access to SureClose inexpensively, for one. And for 2, this is much more customizable than SureClose is as well. So, this is not only something that would house all of your documents and forms and reminders and all that, but you can customize it any way you want. So, I'm loving it. And I got together with Sam, and I want to see what you guys think, and I'll let Sam take it from here.
Amazing stuff, Todd, and thank you so much for that introduction. So my name is Sam Cholbowski. I am one of the founders of Motion.io. We started building this software about 3 years ago. We serve a number of industries, software companies, so other software companies, agencies, but also folks like accountants and lawyers, and then, of course, real estate agents, both on the buyer and seller side. We have a number of clients using us for these purposes right now. Kind of as Todd mentioned, one of the biggest benefits of Motion.io is it allows you to really eliminate so much of that busy work related to the real estate process, whether that is buying or selling. So getting clients to submit forms, getting them to sign documents, getting them to provide the information that you need and do the things that you need to do, that they need to do to move that process forward without you having to manually send them emails, manually follow up and chase them and beg them to provide information to you. So I'm going to go through how Motion.io works. I'm going to run through it basically from beginning to end of how you can use this as a real estate agent. As I go through the contents of this webinar, please feel free to send in your comments and your questions. I will be responding to any comments we receive here live today, so feel free to write them in the chat. I'm just going to post in here right now. Hi, everyone. And then also, if you haven't done so already and you want to kind of follow along while I go through this webinar and begin setting up your own Motion.io account, You can sign up for a free trial. We don't require a credit card for you to sign up. And I posted a link in the chat. It's app.motion.io/register if you would like to go ahead and sign up. So first things first, let's go ahead and let's just talk a little bit about exactly what Motion.io even is in the first place. So Motion.io, where we really shine, is we help you automate, streamline, and collaborate with clients in a really effective and efficient way. The way that you do this is you're able to provide all of your clients with a white labeled portal. I'm just going to go ahead to our website here and share my screen here. So this is just for kind of a high level overview of Motion.io and the things that you can do with it. It gives you the ability not only to invite clients to these portals, but automate the things that you need along the way. So we have client tasks that allow you to automatically follow up with clients about things they need to do. All of our portals are completely login-less for clients to access, meaning they don't need to enter a password or create an account to access information about a project. Motion.io uses magic links, which auto-authenticate them into their portal. We have a full contract functionality that allows you to upload PDFs of different agreements, contracts, things like closing documents that clients might need to sign. Operates very similar to something like a DocuSign, and that's built right into the platform. And we also have powerful feedback tools, which is especially useful if you need a person or a family that you're working with to review different pictures of houses and what they like and what they dislike about them. So you can get to that, either closed home faster, or maybe you can use it on the selling side where you're working with a photographer. They're uploading photos that you need a client that you're working with to sign off on. And then we also have the ability to show any client you're working with a project progress tracker, which lets them know where they are in the process. So, are you still waiting for some documentation, some disclosures from them? Or are you guys, ready to close? Are you done with that negotiating stage and ready to move forward? So this is a really useful feature as it allows clients to keep updated every single step of the way without you having to send manual emails to them and help them understand it that way. We can totally automate the process. So like I said, as I go through the contents of this webinar, please feel free to go ahead, ask your questions, write them in the chat. I will respond live. And then also as a reminder, this webinar will be available on our website. So if you're watching this later, great. Thanks for tuning in. Or if you have to duck out a little bit early, don't worry. I will be recording this whole thing. It'll be up on our website as soon as we are done today. So I'm going to go ahead here, and I'm actually going to sign up for a new Motion.io account. And I'm going to do this to just walk you through quickly what the account setup process looks like in Motion.io before getting into the details a little bit more of a granular way of how it works. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to click to start my trial. As you see, don't have to enter a credit card or anything. Just fill out a quick form and you're ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and create my new account here. Select my industry. Let's just say I'm a solo agent. And this next screen is a really important thing and part of the reason why I wanted to show you the account setup process. So in addition to being completely login-less for your clients to access, every portal you invite customers to can be completely customized to your brand, your business. So I have a logo for this sort of like fake business or this example business that I'm going to be showing you here today. So let me go ahead, and I'm just going to go ahead and upload my logo here. I can crop it if I want to. Don't need to do that though. I think it looks pretty good as is. And then I can also select a primary color that will be used for all of my portals. So after I do that, what you'll see here is Motion.io immediately prompts me to create my first project. I've actually already done this in a separate account. So I'm just going to type new project, but I have a project specific to real estate that I will be showing you. This will just be an example so I can complete the onboarding process. As you're getting up and running it with Motion.io, important to point out that you can schedule a demo with our team at any time. Our team is super duper responsive, here to help out with anything you might need, whether that's setting up your projects and templates, whether that's configuring the various settings in your account. We're here to help. Before I dive into the project that's a little bit more specific to real estate that I've set up just before this webinar, I'm also going to head to the settings of my account just to show you some additional things here. So you can see here that the logo I uploaded, that color I set is all good to go. If I wanted to change the link for my client portals, I could do that here as well. If you want to use your own business domain, that's also an option after you upgrade to a paid account with Motion.io. But this all looks good, so I won't do anything here. But then the next thing I want to show you is if you click on the Portals tab, is we have a couple of global settings here that you can apply. I know that I mentioned that Motion.io portals are login-less for clients, meaning they don't need to create an account or enter a password. But if you do require additional security on your account, once you sign up for a paid plan, you do have the option to toggle on the ability to require passwords if that's a requirement of your business. Just below that, you'll see these client portal pages. These pages are a global setting, so they're going to apply to every single portal. If you wanted to, you do have the option to turn on or off, as well as rename the files page, which gives clients access to any files uploaded throughout the project, in addition to your own to files that you've sent them. This will give them access to any files that they've uploaded, as well as messages. And the messages tab, which I will show you here in a little bit, gives you the ability to chat back and forth with your client in either asynchronously or in real time if you're both online then. So it's a really cool sort of Slack or Microsoft Teams like interface that allows you to make communication really, really easy. And any messages that are sent through this tab actually go into this messages tab here, which provides a really unified centralized box for you. The one thing that I am going to do here, so I'm not going to touch either of these top two settings, but I am going to upload a custom header image for my portal, which I can do by going in here. So I'm going to click Save Changes. And now what you'll be able to see is that within this project, if I open this as the client, I can see that those customizations I made are now applied to this portal. This is just an example. It's just sort of the preview. I haven't invited a client yet to this. And we're going to talk about the additional customizations you can make, because what you'll see is that in every portal you create, a client will have access to their projects. So right now, this portal just has one project associated with it. But any of the tabs that you see under this, so welcome and tasks, these can be customized really any way that you would like. And you can add custom pages of your own to do things like embed calendar links, embed different information that clients might need throughout the buying and selling process. To quickly show you also the messages tab, you can see here, this gives me the ability to send messages back and forth to my clients, even attach files, as well as send voice recordings. And then on the files page, this is a brand new project, of course, there's nothing here yet, but I do have the ability to access any files that might be uploaded throughout the project. So that is a quick walkthrough of the primary settings in Motion.io. So let's go ahead and I'm going to jump into a different account and really just give you this high-level overview of how Motion.io works, what it looks like when you're managing projects on the back end, as well what clients are going to see on the front end. So popping back into my Motion.io account, I'm now going to go ahead into the account where I've set up a project that is specific to real estate. So let's go ahead and share this. I'm sorry, needed a sip of water. My mouth always gets dry through these things. So I am in my Motion.io account now. And what you can see here is that I just have a single project here with just one project in it. And this is, it's called Real Estate Seller Template. So I've built this out in a way that's going to be really specific to a client or a family that you're working with that might be selling a property. As you begin to add more and more projects to Motion.io, this project's dashboard is really going to become your home base for tracking the status of each project. Like I said, there's just one project in here now. I didn't want to confuse anyone by having a whole long list of projects, but this is similar to what you'll see, once you create your first project. And you can also see too, from an earlier project, I did have some messages in here that are new, and these were sent from the messages tab of a client's portal. Right above the projects tab, which is kind of your primary home base, you'll also see that there's a tab for clients. And this is really useful because it provides you a quick overview of all of the clients that you're working with, as well as what projects you might have invited them to. In this clients tab, you're also very easily able to see activity about recent things that they might have done within a project, the various emails they were sent, as well as recent activity. And you can even view their specific portal by clicking the button here. That's it. This project tab is where really you're going to spend probably the most of your time. Second most is going to be the tasks tab, which this provides you a overview of the various tasks that you've been assigned. You can apply filters to filter between the different types of tasks. So you can look at tasks just assigned to you or tasks assigned to any of the team members in your account. One thing that is important to point out about Motion.io is that it never costs you a thing to add a client or to create projects. The only thing you pay for in Motion.io, you pay for your plan as well as the number of users that you might need. So clients are always free. You can create as many projects, add as many clients as you'd like. With that, let's go ahead and let's dive into this project that I've set up. But one thing I will wait for, I just pause for a second. Any questions so far about what we've covered? Is there anything that you might have been confused about as we were kind of given this general overview of how Motion.io works? Anything that you would like to see, just let me know. Happy to explain anything. Stop and pause for questions along the way here. And whoops, sorry, did not mean to do that. So this is a project that I've set up, as I'd mentioned, from the seller side. And what you'll see here on the tasks page is I've broken out this project into the various stages of the selling process. So there's a stage for onboarding and initial documentation, a stage for preparing the home for sale, a stage for showings and open houses, so getting that scheduled with the client that I'm working with, as well as the closing process. In your Motion.io projects at the individual project level, what you'll see is that you have a couple of tabs here up at the top, and they allow you to do different things in the process. I'm going to be talking about all of these tabs at some point during the webinar today, but probably the most important thing before I kind of dive a little bit more deeper into the tasks and stages here is I wanted to very quickly point out this portal tab up here. So on this portal tab is where you can create and customize the tabs that clients are going to be able to access within the project that appear just below the title. So as a quick refresher, I'll open the preview of this. And what you'll see is that in my real estate seller project, I have a couple of different tabs below that. One of the custom tabs I went ahead and added was I actually embedded my calendar within a custom project tab. So at any point, a client can pop in here, schedule a call with me if they have a question about the process, they want to learn more. When you add new portal tabs, they're going to be accessible to your client. And they'll even carry over if we would turn this project into a template. And that's kind of the reason why I wanted to show you first, because I want to talk a little bit about templates, how templates work, because we're going to be building out one and finishing the initial template that I set up before this webinar in real time today. So let's say, an example of something else I might have a portal tab for is I could maybe embed a website with some similar homes. And just for the sake of example, I will go ahead and upload something here, or I will embed something here, which is just a Zillow listing, or just a Zillow page. So if a client wanted to look at this at any point, they could. So I'll go ahead and I gave this a title. I could add photos to the content section here. I'm not going to do that for now. Instead, I'll just go ahead and embed this website here. And what you'll see now is that in the client's portal, within that tab I just created called Similar Homes to Yours, a client could be able to access information. I mean, maybe I just did Zillow for a quick example because it's applicable to the work that you all are doing. But maybe you would do this with a listing page, something like that had other real estate listings on it, or whether this was from the seller side where you wanted to show them similar homes to theirs while you're talking about price and what they would like the home to go for. But on the buyer side, this might be some home options that you have selected for them, and you would like to tell them, hey, is this of any interest to you? So really cool functionality because it allows you to centralize all of the different apps, all of the different websites you might be using within one simple white labeled and loginless portal for clients. So I am back in here in my project. And now to explain a little bit more about what we're going to be doing here today is one of the most powerful aspects of Motion.io is our project templates, as they allow you to systematize, streamline, and automate large parts of your workflow with clients. And what we will do here is, so I've created most of the things that we need for this template already, but after we finish building it out, I'm actually going to go ahead and turn this into a project template that will be available in Motion.io's public library. So templates, again, just for a quick overview, when you create a project from a template, it's going to automatically pull in all of the tasks, all of the stages, all of the automations and portal pages that you need, so you can literally onboard clients in seconds. And to quickly show you an example of where this template is going to appear for you after I add it to our public template library, which I will do immediately after this webinar, is you'll just click Save the Templates. And then in your template library, you can very easily then start creating projects from it, or you could edit this. But the process of creating a project from a template takes literally seconds in Motion.io. I'll just call this example project from template and go ahead and click create. And then all I would have to do from here is add my client, which takes just a few seconds, and then assign them tasks. and I'm done. So using project templates, literally you can onboard clients in a matter of seconds. It's just a couple of clicks. So I'm actually going to archive this project real quick just to move it out of the way. And as I had mentioned, we're going to be finalizing some tasks here in this project I've set up before we add it to our template library. And then also, just as a final reminder, please feel free if you have questions, want to know how templates work, automations work, anything else in Motion.io, let me know. I will respond to any of your questions here live today. So what you'll notice here is that on the tasks page, this is generally where you're going to spend the most of your time when setting up a template for your business initially. Project stages that you see here, these are going to be reflected in the project progress tracker that appears up top. And you have the option to show or hide these stages to clients. So for example, if you had a stage that was, internal work, and you didn't want a client to see that, you could, of course, hide it from the tracker. But if you wanted to show it, you could also show it. Because one of the best things about Motion.io is that you'll notice here that within my various stages, the tasks I've created can be assigned to both clients as well as team members. So team members would be anybody on my personal team. Maybe it's another agent. Maybe that's people like stagers or photographers who work alongside the selling process with me. And as with the stages, you also have the ability to hide and show team tasks. So if you didn't want a client to see some aspect of your internal work that you're doing, you could toggle off this show in portal option, or vice versa, toggle it on to show that task in their portal to let them know that you're working on it. When creating a task in Motion.io, the task composer here gives you options to do a number of different things with the task that you're creating. And you'll see in the right-hand side here, there are options for things that you can attach to the task, things like files, proofs, forms, contracts, embeds, and checklists, things that you can require. So for example, requiring a client to upload documentation, maybe that's title documentation, maybe that's something as simple as a driver's license, front and back photo. You can also require them to sign anything that you might also include in a task. So I have some examples of tasks that I've built out already, but one of the most important things before we show you how these specific task options work is just to point out that when you set a due date for a task, Motion.io automatically toggles on this reminders setting at the bottom under schedule. And with this, with Motion.io's reminders, it's a really powerful feature because as soon as you set a due date, what Motion.io is going to do is follow up based on the due date that you set. And you're able to make sure that the tasks that clients need to complete get completed. You have the information that you need without having to manually track those things in a spreadsheet or maybe a separate project management tool. Nope, you can do that all directly within Motion.io. So a really powerful feature because it allows you to just fully streamline the process of working with your clients. So now that we've talked generally about how tasks work, I want to show you some specific examples of the things that you can do. So in my onboarding and documentation stage here, I have some forms, disclosures, and things that a client would need to upload in order to sort of kick off the selling process. So you'll see here there are disclosure forms, property information, loan documents, things like that that they might need to provide. The way that you create tasks like this is if you click create a new task, and I'll toggle this on for the client, I will then click the file uploads option. And with file upload requests, you can create as many different types of collections or files that you need. I generally recommend breaking them out. So you could do, HOA, agreements, permits, basically anything that you needed, you can combine into a single task. And I'm not going to go ahead and save this just because I have already created this task here. So we are all good to go there. And right below that, what you'll notice is I have a task for the client to complete their disclosure form. So in this form that I've created, and Motion.io does have a fully functional form builder, allows you to create customizable forms however you'd like. You can do something as simple as radio buttons, but you can also request files through these forms, and then even require a signature for forms. So if you don't have a PDF that you want to upload and turn into a Motion.io contract, if you have a form that you'd like to create, Motion.io still allows you to collect signatures on that. And you can create forms in two different ways in Motion.io. If you have just a quick form that you want to create, you can click here. It's a very intuitive, very familiar drag and drop builder here to customize your forms any way you'd like. But you can also see a full list of your forms by just clicking forms on the left-hand sidebar. And I won't do this in this webinar here today, but one of the really cool things that you'll notice within Motion.io is we have an AI-powered form builder. So if you describe the form that you need created in a couple of sentences, Motion.io can actually build that for you utilizing artificial intelligence, which is a really cool feature. One last thing I wanted to point out about forms, just to kind of highlight the functionality that is available within them. And let me just search for it here really quick. So I'm back in here in my disclosure form. Something that you have the option to do in Motion.io is if you want to display different fields conditionally, you can click the settings wheel here next to any form, and it gives you the ability to only show a specific question based on the answer to a previous one. So for example, with this question about the foundation, are you aware of any past or present issues such as cracks, water intrusion, or settling? Only if the client clicks yes, will this field appear. And I've done that in a couple of different places throughout this form. So you'll be able to check this out directly after the webinar and see how this works. Another thing I would like to call out with forms is you also have the ability to populate custom field values from them. And what custom fields are in Motion.io, you can see those if you go into your account settings. But what custom fields allow you to do is populate different client information in a way that's specific to them directly in a project. And this is especially useful in things like contracts, which I will show you how to do in just a little bit here. But for now, just know that custom fields, really powerful feature. They allow you to dynamically populate information anywhere you'd like throughout a project. So I'm going to go ahead, hop back in here to my project that I am creating. And I'm going to go through a couple of additional tasks here. So we talked about the disclosure form task where it's a form. There's files a person can upload. There's also questions about sort of the state of their house overall and a signature field. But just below that, you'll notice that we have a task for the sales price discussion. And similar to what I showed you earlier in the webinar, how you can embed websites and other software apps in portal pages, you can also do that with tasks in Motion.io. So what you will notice is that instead of using any of these other attachment options, I've actually clicked the embed option, and simply by pasting in the code for my Calendly calendar, it's just the URL, I can get this task to populate for the client. So they can schedule a time to talk about the sale price for their home. Moving on down to the next stage here, to show you another task option you have available is the checklist option. And this is something I've seen a lot of our customers, specifically who are also working on the sell side in addition to the buy side. They'll create these checklists for clients of things that they need to do to prepare their home for photos, prepare their home for showings. And what you can do is quickly add checklists to your tasks. So a client can come in here and mark off the tasks that they've completed as they do them. And like I said, especially useful if you want to group together smaller tasks into one task to keep things nice and neat for the client. And so the project doesn't look too overwhelming for them. A final task here in the preparing the home for sale stage that I want to point out is the review and approve home photos task here. So in my template, you'll see that as a client goes through this, so they complete the declutter of their house, they book their phone appointment. Once that's done, what you could do on your end is actually send them the photos that the photographer took of their home. So they can say, hey, looks great, or nope, still, I don't really like this one, don't show that. And what you will see is that creating one of these tasks is super duper easy. All you have to do is come into the task you want to create. And I'm just going to create a new task here from scratch to show you how this works. Review home photos. Please review the photos our photographer, and I'm just going to add a quick description, took of your home. This is going to be a client task. And I'll click proofs here. And all I have to do to make it so the client can review, approve, and comment on these photos is just go ahead and drag and drop them here into the project. And so it's really that easy. As soon as I add these in, and as soon as I would send these to the client, they will be able to go through and click approve or request changes on each photo, as well as comment on this. So they could write, looks great. And a big benefit about this is these comments get pinned specifically to each image. So you know exactly what they're talking about, as well as understanding if the file was approved or if there were changes to it that they've requested. Also, a great thing to point out about Motion.io is the comments sidebar here. This is especially useful if clients have questions about a task as they are completing it, because when they tag you in a comment, so if the client would say, hey, Sam Shelbowski, what is this? Maybe they just have no idea. You on the admin side of Motion.io would automatically be notified of this and could go in and respond to them. So really nice functionality if clients do have questions about a task. And then as with any messages that are sent through the messages page of a portal, those will appear and you'll be notified here in this message tab. So moving down from this stage of preparing the home for sale, we have a couple of quick things in the showings and open houses stage. A form that the client must submit to block off some times that work well for them to show their home, as well as a quick form that asks them, if they are able to schedule an open house on some weekend day. One of the most helpful things and the most helpful types of tasks I think are especially useful to real estate agents is the ability to send contracts and other documents through Motion.io. And this is a task option that appears under the attached section. So I've already set up a closing disclosure agreement within my project or within my Motion.io account. But what you'll need to do in order to create a task like this is go ahead and you would simply click the contracts option, select your contractor agreement, and then you would just attach it to the task here. So you'll see that's attached to the task. And let me save this just to show you quickly what this looks like. The client will click fill out. Click to start, and then they'll be able to sign, add a date. But there's also a number of other fields that you can add to this. So I want to quickly walk through how Motion.io's contract functionality works and how you even get or even make it so that you can select a contract from this screen in the first place. So I'm going to go ahead and just back out of this task. And then I will go ahead and navigate over to the contracts tab of my Motion.io account. So in this tab, you'll see a list of all of your contracts, all of your agreements that you've uploaded to Motion.io. If you want to create a new agreement, all you have to do is click Create Contract Template and then upload a file. And I have a PDF available here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this in. So I'll click Upload. I'll give this a title, just Closing Agreement. And then the really important thing you'll need to do for these once you upload it is click Edit Fields. And this is going to be how you're able to configure what information that you're asking for. So the really easy stuff, I'll just show you how to add this quickly, which is just the applicant signature, as well as the date they are signing on. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller just so it's in line with the date field. And then I have a couple of check boxes here I'd like to add. So I'll go ahead and do that. Super duper similar to the way that DocuSign works, where you upload your PDF, you can map different fields, add different things into your template. But one of the other really cool things that you can do is, let's say you wanted to auto-populate the property that they are selling, and you want to auto-populate the address of that. So this is a closing agreement that's already been kind of filled out, so you'll have to excuse me there. But I'm going to add a text field here in Motion.io. And what I can do once this is added is by entering my custom field into the API ID section, I can actually use the information a client provides earlier in the process. So when they complete an onboarding or intake form, I can use the information to auto-populate that specific address in this field when the client goes to complete it. So let me just back out of here for a second. And I'm going to show you how to do this from beginning to end, just because it is a feature that I know has been super, super valuable to the real estate agencies and agents that have been using us. So the way that you could set up a field to populate the address in this closing agreement is I will go ahead and create a quick custom field called seller home address. So I'm creating this in the settings page. And then what I will do from there in the seller home, so I have that field created, pop back in here into the contracts tab. And I'm going to edit my closing disclosure agreement to include this custom field. So the way that I'll do that, and I'm just going to add this. Let me just find a good space for this, just so we can very clearly see it. I'm going to add a text field here. I'm going to give this a quick title or a quick label of property address, and paste my custom field here into the seller home address. And where did that? Oh, there it is. And let me just modify that really quickly. And you'll see, you'll get a little confirmation pop-up that says the API ID was successfully set to your custom field. And if this still doesn't make sense, don't worry. I'm going to be showing you what this looks like when a client actually goes through the process here. But first, one quick modification I am going to make is that in my initial disclosure form, I'm going to add a field here that will just be titled, whoops, property address. Click the settings wheel, and then I will click populate custom fields, so that when the client enters their property address, it will automatically set the value of that custom field you just saw me create. So cool. Let's go ahead and save this. Whoops. One second here. Just duplicate this. Okay. So now I have set up this project to where I think this is pretty much ready to go. So I've created this initially as an active project, but let me go ahead and I'm going to turn this into a template. And as I had mentioned, so not only can you copy active projects to your own template library, which appears under your templates, but I'm going to add this. And I'm going to edit this name here really quick. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and add this to Motion.io's public template library so that if any of y'all are watching this right after this webinar, you'll be able to go in and use this template in your own projects or in your own account setup. So let me just 1 second here. I just want to find a good icon to represent this. And then what you'll see here is cool. Anybody who's watching this, all you need to do is sign up for an account. And this template is going to be available in your library. If you want to quickly copy it to, if you click save to your templates, what this is going to do is automatically pull it over into your template library and enable you to use it. But now this is set up, let's show you how this is actually going to work from the client side. So let's say now that I have my account all set up, all configured, I'm ready to onboard my first client. All you need to do in order to kick off a new project is click the Create Project button here from your project's dashboard. Click Use a Project Template. And then I'll select my seller template. And let's call this 200 Rocky Way. What I find that for our real estate clients who are using us, it's often really helpful to put within the title of the project, if it's a, if you're working with a client who's selling their home, really helpful to put the a snippet of the address in there. But if you're working with a client who is interested in buying a home, sometimes it's helpful to just, I would recommend just putting their name or their family name. But since this is going to be for a home sale, I'm going to go ahead and just enter 200 Rocky Way. And actually, let me name this. I'm just going to name this after one of my 4 brothers here. So I'll click, let's say my brother Gabe is buying a home and I'm going to be his real estate or selling a home. And I'm going to be his agent throughout the process. So all I have to do is click Create Project. And you'll see now that I've created a project that no tasks are going to be shown in the client's portal. And how do we do that? How do we make these tasks active? Well, the first thing that you'll need to do in order to get the client access to some of these tasks is simply add them to the project. So I'll go ahead and enter Gabe Chilbowski, which is my youngest brother's name. I'll enter an email address. I can leave the company blank or I can fill this in, kind of up to you. And then I'll click Save. What you'll see that as soon as you click Save on a new client you've added to the project is you will be prompted to assign them to all tasks in that project. This is something that I find is really helpful. This isn't going to automatically activate the tasks for them to complete, but it will go ahead and assign them. And then from there, all you would have to do is come into your tasks page, select the tasks you want them to complete, and click Send Activate Tasks. And wonderful, these tasks are active. I'll also go back in here and add a due date. If you add due dates at the template, you can also do this at the template level, which I will show you before we wrap up here today. But I'll make sure that he completes all of these tasks by June 14th before we continue on to the next tasks. And what this looks like now, just to show you on the client portal side, is great. They have access to these tasks. They can go ahead and complete them, uploading loan documents, HOA documents, repair and maintenance records, as well as completing and signing that disclosure form there. And then once again, because we created this from a template, they also have access to those portal or those project tabs you saw me create, with the one to book a call, as well as check out similar homes to theirs. So that really covers the basics of how Motion.io works, from setting up your project, the stages, the various tasks and types of tasks you can create, as well as customizing the client portal that is going to be accessed by your various clients. The final thing I wanted to show you is the ability to use Motion.io's automations feature. And this is a really powerful aspect of Motion.io, something that I see almost every single one of our clients using. But I wanted to save it to the end because I think that automations make a lot more sense once you understand the basics of how Motion.io works. So in my template here that I created earlier, I'm going to set up some automations so that the various tasks in this project are automatically activated on the schedule that I want them completed on. So basically, once these only give the client access to complete the tasks in the second stage after the first stage is completed. And the same thing with the third and fourth. Only activate the tasks in the third stage after the second is completed. Only activate the closing tasks once all other 3 stages are completed. So the way that I do that is I can pop into my Motion.io automations here, and you'll see up at the top, Motion.io provides some really helpful examples of the different types of automations you can set up. I'll click Add Automation. And for this first automation, if the project is created, I will activate all tasks in the first stage. So when creating automations, you have to select a trigger event as well as the actions you want Motion.io to do. Triggers are basically the thing that you want to happen before an automation kicks off. So in this case, I want to automatically activate all tasks in that first stage when a new project is created from this template. So I select if project real estate seller template is created, then activate task, upload property forms, activate task, complete disclosure form, and activate the task to have their sales price discussion. And this is really helpful within templates because as you can see here, within this automation, I've configured this so when I create a new project, Motion.io will automatically also set a due date for that task, toggling on automated reminders and automatically following up with the client until they complete these things. And then quickly, I'm just going to create 2 additional automations for this template because I know y'all watching this are going to be using this. So I want it to be as close to perfect as possible for you. And I'll call this next automation onboarding completed. Actually, let's make it even easier. Stage 1 completed, activate stage 2. So this is going to trigger when the stage onboarding and documentation is completed. We're going to activate the next stage, which is preparing the home for sale. And I'll just repeat this with the other 2 stages. So stage 2 completed, activate stage 3, then activate stage 3, and then finally, when stage 3 is completed, we will activate the tasks in the closing stage. And there we go. And so now that these are set up, what will happen here is all of these are going to sort of waterfall after one another automatically, activating various tasks, setting the due dates for certain tasks as the project moves forward. And while that is happening, the client in their portal will have access to a project tracker that shows them what's been going on and receiving updates directly within their portal. So as I had mentioned, this template, I've made this available for you already. It's going to be in Motion.io's public library. So if you would like, go ahead and sign up for an account. Whether you're watching this now or whether you are watching it later on, we're also happy to help you get your Motion.io account set up. Feel free to send us an email at hello@motion.io. And then finally, if you are interested in signing up for a paid account after your free trial, you can use the coupon code Real Estate Site Designers, which I just plugged in the chat, for 20% off your first year. So with that, Todd, I will hand it back over to you to let us close things out here today.
All right. So the only other thing that I wanted to mention that I've used is the review tab. So anytime you have a task or a document gets uploaded or anything like that, if you have additional team members in your account, you can assign that task to be reviewed by somebody else. So if you had something like a transaction coordinator or an admin assistant and you added them to your Motion.io account, then when a document gets uploaded or a contract gets uploaded, it doesn't have to be you that reviews that contract. It could be your admin person or your transaction coordinator, somebody maybe who knows the contract, better than you. I don't know, but I have it set up that way, so that different people on my team, if they have a different part of the project to complete, or John needs to verify that the client did X correctly, I can have it assigned to him, and I don't have to go through everything. So, like a transaction coordinator or an admin person, you could put them in your account as well. But other than that, no, I got nothing else. That was great. And like I said, I use this. It literally transformed my business. Took a couple weeks to set up, but now I'm saving literally hours every day. And that's it.
Awesome. And thanks for sharing that, Todd. That was one thing I didn't point out that I do think is a really good call out for real estate agents. And just as a quick follow up, the way that you use that review feature is you can go into any task within a project or a template, and all you have to do is click team review and then select the team member you want to review that task before it officially gets marked as complete. So with that, that really does it for what we wanted to share today. As a reminder, if you have any questions, if you need help setting up your Motion.io account, our team is here to help. Go ahead, sign up for a trial, get in touch with our team, and excited to have you start using this in your business. Take care, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.